In 2022, nearly half of Americans expected a civil war in the next few years. 1 in 5 now believes political violence is justified. And it's not just the US, but around the world. People increasingly see themselves as part of opposing teams. There are many different reasons for this, but one gets blamed a lot: social media. Social media divides us, makes us more extreme and less empathetic. It riles us up or sucks us into doom scrolling, making us stressed and depressed. It feels like we need to touch grass and escape to the real world. New research shows that we might have largely misinterpreted why this is the case. It turns out that the social media internet may uniquely undermine the way our brains work, but not in the way you think.
Bro, okay, hold on. Because I think because everybody's like anonymous and shit like on the internet, bro, everybody just fucking says dumbass shit. But no one is saying dumbass shit because it's on the internet. They're saying dumbass shit because that's how they actually think and feel, though. So like, it just a mirror back at ourselves. We're just fucking dumb as bricks. I'm sorry, it is what it is. You can be really smart and still be dumb as bricks. Okay, it's not mutually exclusive. Okay, it's just what it is.
The myth of the filter bubble. You've probably heard about online filter bubbles. Algorithms give you exactly what you want or what they think you want. You only see information that shows you opinions that agree with yours, while dissenting opinions or information are filtered out. Since you only see content close to your worldview, more extreme and toxic opinions suddenly seem less extreme. You're trapped in a radicalizing filter bubble, and your view of the world becomes narrower and more extreme. But is that true? Extreme filter bubbles seem to be rather rare. Studies that investigated what people actually look at online or are shown by search engines found little evidence that you're ideologically isolated. It's the exact opposite. Online, you are constantly confronted with opinions and worldviews that are not your own. It turns out that the place where you are the most ideologically isolated is your real life.
Chat, not chat, guys, hold on, we got chat. Not entirely true. 1 to 1. If on a scale of this to this, on a scale of A to B, okay, my belief is like a 8.5, okay, and I'm about over here. I'm gonna be given things that are gonna be like in this range, right, in this blue area, right? So I'm gonna be nudging both directions. I feel like it's not gonna say, oh, okay, this is how you feel. Then we're only beginning to give you this, and we're only gonna go this direction. That's not really how that works. You're given about an average of something that you like it.
In the real world with real people. Your real-world interactions with your friends, family, colleagues and neighbors are much less diverse than your online bubble. The filter bubble exists in your real life, not online. Okay, wait. Online filter bubbles have been the prevailing explanation as to why we've all started hating each other more over the last 2 decades. If that's not the case, shouldn't the internet open our minds and make us more empathetic with each other? Unfortunately, your brain is stupid. Your brain is stupid. Human brains didn't evolve to understand the true nature of reality, but to navigate and maintain social structures.
True.
Our ancestors desperately needed each other to survive, so our brains had to make sure we cooperated. That's why social isolation or exclusion feels so horrible, because it was actually life-threatening. A tribe that worked together survived.
That's right.
A divided tribe died. The way communities worked for thousands of years is that, sure, you may have disliked a neighbor, but because you lived close to each other, you also rooted for the same sports club or saw them at church. You both thought that the people from the other village were idiots. Being physically close made you familiar and created similarities that bridged the gap of different worldviews, so you didn't murder each other. And your worldview was probably not that different in the first place because it was formed by the same local culture. When our brains evolved, this was enough. Whoever was around was similar to us. We liked what was similar to us. This kept us aligned enough to work together despite our differences. As humanity moved on from small tribes to towns and cities, from chiefdoms to kingdoms to nations, our brains and our communities had to adapt to more diverse sets of neighbors. We began to meet on the town square or in universities where we argued and screamed at each other. But in the grand scheme of things, communities were still relatively isolated, we were still pretty similar and aligned with the people around us. Conflict and disagreement are not a bad thing per se. tension over how we should live can create new and wonderful things.
That's a really good joke,
Our
chat.
values, norms, and taboos are always evolving, and whatever we think is normal today will not be normal in the future. But we also need social glue to hold our societies together, because our brains don't care about the meta level of humanity, but about being safe in a tribe. Until about 20 years ago, we did something truly new that hit our brains like a freight train: the social media internet, the digital town square. Don't you dare disagree with me. Social sorting. In a nutshell, our brains are not able to process the amount of disagreement we encounter on the social internet. The very mechanisms that made it possible for our ancestors to work together in the first place are derailed in ways we were not prepared for. Whether you want it to or not, your brain sorts people by worldviews and opinions into teams. This is not simply tribalism, it goes further. Researchers have called this process social sorting. On the digital town square, you encounter people that express opinions or share information that clash with your worldview. But unlike your neighbor, they don't root for your local sports club. You're missing the local social glue your brain needs to align with them. I'm confused. For your brain, the disagreement between yourself and them becomes a central part of their identity. And this makes it less likely that you will seriously consider their position or opinion in the future. If you hear bad things about them, your brain is much more likely to believe it uncritically. On the flip side, there are people who share your worldview and are maybe even more similar to you than many people in your real life, which makes your brain like them a lot and kind of hyper-align with them.
That is super true.
People who think like you are probably good people because you're a good person and whatever social group you belong to is good. So your brain is more likely to believe their opinions. If you hear bad things about them, your brain is much more likely to dismiss it uncritically. The engagement-driven social internet makes it worse because it wants to keep you online as long as possible. And the most engaging emotion is, unfortunately, anger. The more angry you get, the more likely you are to share and engage, and this leads to social media amplifying the most extreme and controversial opinions. It optimizes not only to show us disagreement, but the worst disagreement possible. And because your stupid brain is sorting people into teams, whatever the worst opinions are, it assigns the same opinions to everybody on the other team. What's striking and new about online polarization is that all the aspects of our lives that make us individuals, our lifestyle choices, the comedians or shows we watch, our religion, sense of fashion and so on, are condensed, making it seem that they're parts of opposing and mutually exclusive identities. This simplifies and distorts disagreements about how we should run society so much that it often seems as if the people on the other team are actively, willfully making the world worse. That they're almost evil beyond convincing with rationality, facts, or civil discussion. While you are, of course, on the correct team, it may be hard to process that you may seem like that to people on the other team. On a societal level, this is dissolving the social glue that's the foundation of our democracies. If we think our neighbors are evil, how can we live together? This is especially bad in the US, where the two-party system makes it extra easy to think of people in terms of teams. Negative opinion about the other party has reached record highs. Okay, is there something we can learn from this? Is there something we can do? Something more positive, opinion part. In the end, it's important to be aware of what social media does to your brain. It's easier to change your...
Listen, I'm not like this about myself. Okay, but I think it's a pretty good case study. Okay. People try to make it seem like I did something bad every week for like 2 months straight, every single week. When there are things that everybody around me does, and they get praised for. That's insane. Just let that sink in. Okay. I'm in a place where everybody does the same thing. We're all the same group. Everybody gets praised and I get absolutely shit on for these things. It's crazy.
Yourself than to change the world, so you can self-examine why you believe the things you believe and whether you dismiss or believe information.
React? Like having maids go to your house and clean your house? What else?
Based on who the person is who is stating that information. The internet comes with a lot of ups and downs, and just like we had to adapt from living in small tribes
Why is question mark? Stop question mark. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Everyone at me for React content. Everybody does it. Every streamer out there that is just chatting does React. There's no difference at all. We are on the same boat. Nobody does it perfectly. Nobody's purist. Nobody's better. Nobody's above the fucking pack. Nobody's a high roading. We're all in the same boat. Yeah, they chose to just sank me. And everybody just looked at me. Bro, everybody just looked back and they were like, wow. Yep, that boat is sinking. Yep, I see it. Moving on. And they are in the same boat as me. Is that my part is singing, but everybody's just looking around. It's insane. It's crazy. It's actual schizo shit.
To living in cities, we need to adapt to the information age where we have access to billions of people.
Think about it.
Evolution is too slow, so we need to find models that work with what our brains are able to tolerate. One model that seemed to work well was the pre-social media internet old people might remember. Bulletin boards.
Chat, dumb it down and let me know how you would feel. Okay, let's say your test. Okay, your teacher gives you a test. Okay. And there's a main booklet, and then there's the info booklet, okay? And you have two booklets, and when you feel that, and when you read it. Everybody's reading one, and then filling the answer on the second one, right? Everybody's doing it in class, right? The teacher comes next to somebody, like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay. And they go to you, and they're like, oh my god, you are cheating on this. And like, bro, I'm just not even cheating. Everybody's doing this. This is fine. You're cheating, you motherfucker. I can't believe you. And then they scold you. Next day, same thing happens. Next day, same thing happens. You're all doing the same thing. And then you're getting scolded for the thing. Everybody's doing it. How do you feel? How do you think you would feel? It's actual schizo shit.
Forums, blogs. The main difference to today was twofold. For one, there were no algorithms fighting to keep you online at any cost. At some point, you were done with the internet for the day, as mind-blowing as this may sound. But more importantly, the old internet was very fractured, split into thousands of different communities, like small villages gathering around shared beliefs and interests. These villages were separated from each other by digital rivers or mountains. These communities worked because they mirrored real life much more than social media. Each village had its own culture and set of rules. Maybe one community was into rough humor and soft moderation, another had strict rules and banned easily. If you didn't play by the village rules, you'd be banned, or you could just go and move to another village that suited you better. So instead of all of us gathering in one place, overwhelming our brains at a town square that in the end just leads us to going insane, one solution to achieve less social sorting may be extremely simple. Go back to smaller online communities. Because what our stupid brains don't realize is that we are actually all...
I really like this channel, but this is really short-sighted. This makes no sense at all. I mean, you understand it. He understands, and other videos understands. Everyone wants to feel connected. Everyone wants to feel like they're part of something. Rejection, loneliness. Of course, people want to be. They want to feel part of something. Well, the bigger the channel, the bigger the platform, the more attention you get by size. You're conditioning people to feel like they're rewarded by sheer size when they have opinions, they say shit. People will always tend to in the places that echo the most, that have the most noise. The small communities, they get what, like 5 likes on a good day, 10 likes? You go to Twitter, you say, yo, dude, this guy is something false. Boom, you get 100 likes for free. Of course, I mean, it doesn't matter what they're saying. Don't give a fuck. They're programmed, literally, they're internally programmed to continue posting on that, and it's to keep getting juice. It's just how it works.
All on the same team. Humanity.
Asking people to get less attention on more diverse target communities, bro, that's brain rot. That will never happen.
That we are actually all on the same team. Humanity, on a wet rock speeding through space in a universe that doesn't think about us. We are all in this together. But until our brains adjust to being able to deal with that, we might be better off being a tiny bit separated. One of the worst things about the media we consume is that most news organizations tend to cater to one team, making you feel you're on the correct side. Ground News, the sponsor of this video, is trying to make these biases more transparent by giving you tools that help you think critically about the information you consume, a mission we wholeheartedly support. Ground News gathers related articles from around the world in one place so you can compare how different outlets and sites cover them. They provide context about the source of the information, if they have a political bias, how reliable their reporting is, and who owns them. This makes the news less stressful and makes you understand the world much better. If you want to check them out, go to ground.news/nutshell. If you sign up through this link, you'll get 30% off their unlimited access plan. A subscription supports Kurzgesagt and Ground News, so they can continue to build more media literacy tools. Our favorite tool has a personal background. In 2018, Kurzgesagt founder Philip, who wrote this video, was going through chemotherapy and was intensely bored, so he ended up reading all the big German newspapers, even the ones he hated, front to back, every single day. Aside from the obvious biases, what was the most shocking were the stories each side did not talk about. Both sides ignored things that are inconvenient to their worldviews. The Ground News blind spot feed highlights this exact thing, showing you new...
Guys, what I said really makes sense. You can say I'm dumb as all you want, okay? Okay. People that get more attention will never go back to a place that gives them less attention. It's why you see all the politicians on Twitter, whenever Twitter was changing from Elon Musk getting it, people were like, I will never use Twitter again. I am going back to the caves. I am leaving the platform. What do you think happened the next day? Well, they post on the fucking platform. What happened the next day? They post on the platform. What do you think happened last night? They're still posting on the fucking platform because they're all fucking dopamine junkies, because that's how we're programmed. These websites are abusing the flaw that we have, and who gives a fuck? Okay, I don't care. Fix it or don't. Who gives a fuck? It's shit anyway. I don't give a fuck. Nothing's better. It's all dog ass. I don't care. Okay? Feed me dog shit. I am dog shit. We all are. You're as well. Same thing in chat.